Where does great art come from? Kurt Cobain, Hemingway, Van Gogh, and Robin Williams. What do these people have in common? If you guessed torture artists that created timeless works of art and then tragically killed themselves, congratulations, you are one smart sick fuck. So this begs the question, is pain absolutely necessary to create great art? To find the answer, I decided to interview other creatives and even looked inwards in myself. It turns out, I'm a bit of a narcissist. But first, to kick off the video, let's start with what creativity is and why it's something that both you and I should care about. It sounds a bit corny to say, but I truly believe that everybody is creative. So when we think back to our earliest memories, all we did as kids was constantly use our imagination to make sense of this world. But as we got older, that will to create just slowly dies in schools and cubicles. And it also doesn't help that this definition of creativity is often so limited as well. Because when we think about creativity, we often think about drawing, music, filmmaking, but in reality, it can be in anything. Whether that be cooking, sports, or even shaking your ass on TikTok. Focus, you sick fuck. For the longest time, I didn't think that I was creative because I draw and sing like a monkey. And so pursuing a creative interest felt so foreign and out of place for me. I know I'm not the only person in the world who's felt this. So to discuss this topic further, I decided to interview a couple of professional artists, and here they are.
We were actually living in Amsterdam together, but we actually broke up. And she went back to the United States, so I'm just there with no job, sad,
lonely,
alone, with so much time. And I'm in like the most artistically inclined city. Because I had
for years,
like
I'm gonna download Photoshop, I'm gonna do this, and then he did it.
So then she left, and I was bored and alone, and I started messing around on Photoshop.
It took kind of like a very sad or low moment for you to be like, fuck it, and I'm gonna actually start it.
That's true.
And I think that's actually where this tortured artist maybe might come from.
In the case of Kirk, that breakup and the pain associated was that push that he needed to rediscover his creativity. And often in art, pain is such a great motivator. Christopher Czar, who wrote Tortured Artist, essentially argues in his book that to produce great art, that requirement is pain. And any art without pain is probably shit. And honestly, there's a lot of truth in his argument, because as audience members, we definitely have this fetishization of the struggling artist. And I'm absolutely guilty of this too. And the prime example is Kanye West, because whenever he goes on these unmedicated manic tweets and says shit like slavery is a choice,
400 years? That sounds like a choice.
I'm honestly expecting some fire ass shit to come out.
I actually think this trope is a bit damaging. People maybe starting out, or maybe people who've been doing it for years, think that they have to be miserable to keep this edge.
But I feel like I'm living proof of what he's saying. Like, you don't have to be sad all the time.
You're the
Shane.
happiest
Like,
human I've ever
I'm
met.
happy, and I make what I think are awesome pieces.
Maybe I think it works for different people. Sadness is just a lot more relatable. That's why there's this perception of great art comes from that. But I think it's all about being able to communicate whatever feeling or emotion and convey that to an audience where they feel that exact same thing too.
Yeah.
There's a reason why pain, depression, and angst are the most common emotions to be expressed artistically. And it's because it's such a struggle to convey those feelings, and that's so damn relatable to many people. And these exact topics that are the hardest to talk about are often the most authentic in the human experience. But sometimes I just feel like it becomes kind of a circle jerk and an unhealthy competition between who can express that struggle the best.
Artists are competitive by nature. I think we try to stray away from that because it's like unity and we're all in this together.
Even
The
Kirk
art
and I will get
community,
competitive.
like, yeah.
We call it dibs. Like, if we have an idea and we're talking about it together, we'll be like, dibs. Like, I'm making a piece about it, not you.
That's cute as shit, dude.
Oh, we cute? We cute as shit.
All right, chill, guys.
A lot of people that make art want to bring barriers up for other people that don't make art because they know that the more people that get into it, the more competition.
Yeah.
So they want to say, like, I'm the tortured artist. You can't because you are not sad enough or you're not this enough.
There is such thing as sad boy clout now.
I
Yeah,
literally was
true.
going to bring that up.
Look, there's absolutely positivity in this sad boy clout movement, in that it's at least promoting talking about mental health. But at the same time, I feel like artists are capitalizing on other people's empathy and romanticizing these painful struggles in an effort to sell records. And whether that's, sharing your sadness or your happiness, to even have this thought to want to share your experiences with others shines a light on the conceited aspect of any creative endeavor.
to want to be a creative, to want to like put yourself out there, I think we all kind of have a little bit of a narcissistic tendency.
Yeah. I want to be remembered after I die. Like, can't everyone say that and be honest with themselves?
I think it's bullshit when people say, oh, I made this art, but I don't care who sees it. No, I make YouTube videos because I want motherfucking views and subscribers. The fact that I want to make YouTube videos where I feel like, oh, I have this story and I want to share it with others, that's narcissistic in a way. It's obviously not that serious, but I think a lot of artists can actually, if they look into it, can probably relate with
I
it.
think that might be where the sad boy culture comes from. It's like you want this recognition for the things that you're creating so badly. Like sometimes I literally just get into slumps because I'm like, one day I'm gonna die and 500 years from now, no one's gonna remember that I existed.
You want to help people. You're making YouTube videos with 10% out of narcissism and then 90% out of, I want people to have true experiences and that's the way you want to.
You do need a little tiny sprinkle of narcissism, but I think most
just to get through the just to get through the hard part.
A little detail that you may have worked on for 3 hours that most people will probably gloss over and not even notice. You need that narcissism to power you through that and make that piece complete for you. Sometimes I spent like so many hours on like a little transition. People, they'll forget about it. Like it's not like they like.
It's 5 seconds.
But your transitions are cool.
Oh well, thank you.
I don't know, like.
She said, promise me, nothing's gonna change,
Oh, the titties started popping up. Look, I really don't have any idea what I'm talking about, but what I do know is that tough times like this pandemic will absolutely lead to a mini renaissance or roaring 20s, because it exposes our inherent desire for creativity. And to start uncovering that for yourself, the best way to start is to take a closer look at the younger you. Whether it be creating cringy raps,
we got the G in us, call it Gatorade,
skits, or even editing my own soccer highlight videos, I've always gravitated towards creating content on YouTube. And that creativity was just waiting to be rediscovered and to be shared. And perhaps that's what Kurt Cobain, Hemingway, Van Gogh, all these great artists did better than anyone, is that they shared what they believed to be their authentic truth of that time in a way where others can relate with it and pull stuff from it. But who actually knows, right? All I know is that my narcissistic ass will do exactly that, but slightly better.